welcome back to the TypeTwo Roulette League here, and we are ready to spin that wheel for the third time here, round number 2. So, let's get down into the commentary booth where we are going to be rolling the wheel for the first time tonight. First up will be the tracks, so let's find out where we are going to be racing here today for the first of 2 races. The wheel is going to spin. Is it going to stop near Summit Point, Thompson Speedway, or Tsukuba? We are going to get to Tsukuba for the first race of the day here. That is the track. Let's decide which car we are going to be going out in for this one around Tsukuba for the first race of the day. We are spinning that wheel to find out the cars that are going to be heading down onto the track. Is it the BMW M2? No, it's the Cadillac CTSV that we will be going to for the first race tonight. So if you missed it, race number 1 of the night is going to be at Tsukuba in the Cadillac CTSVs, a very tricky car, one that needs quite a lot of turning radius, and we're going to a circuit that does not offer it. This is going to be absolutely epic. We've got all of our drivers who have just found out at the same time as you guys where we are going to be racing today. And for those of you jumping into the Twitch chat, hello and welcome in. I can see you all over there. We've got Zero Last, Mission TV. We've got Zero Last again, and then we've got John as well in there. Well, hello and good evening to you all, and for the follows as well during the build-up. Now, the session's going to go live in just a moment's time, so we are going to step back for just a moment as we wait for the session to go up, get into that session, set everything up, and we will bring you our qualifying session for the evening, because these events will be nice and quick. A nice quick practice, a nice quick qualifying session, a nice quick race, 2 of them ahead of us. And when we get down onto track for the first time in about 5 minutes time, we will also have a look at the championship standings, because they have been sorted ahead of the second round here. If you want to get involved, then make sure that you jump down into the Type2's Discord, which I'll be linking during the break, and you can get yourself signed up for the 3rd week of competition in 2 weeks' time. Race number 1 then, on our way. We'll be back in a moment's time to bring you all of the racing action. Hello and welcome back to the Type 2 Racing's Roulette League. The first of the races is upon us, and after spinning the wheel just 8 minutes ago, we have got the first of the combinations sorted, and we are here at Tsukuba for the first of our second round races. It was an interesting first round a couple of weeks ago, and it means that we do now have a championship standing. So before qualifying gets started here, let's have a look at how those championship standings play out going into this second evening of racing. Jack Pittaz is at the front of it, and I have been corrected on pronunciations, but he is only 2 points clear of Jonathan Berry going into this second round. Jamie Dory is the man in third, ahead of Sammy Ariba in fourth position. Tied on 18 points apiece is Charlie Jobson-Wood, Joshua Downing and William Guthrie. Michael Evangeli sits with 12 points ahead of George Stone, and Ben Oucher round out the top 10 in 8th position, with 8 points on the board, along with Robert Savage and Henry Martel with 6 points, will in 12th position. A number of new names heading in for this one though, which means that we have got a lot of drivers heading out to try and take it to the top of the championship. But without further ado, let's get this qualifying session underway around the Tsukuba circuit and see what our drivers can do. You can probably hear the cars whilst we were setting up and loading into the session. Now we've watched Joe Ingram go around as we've got the Barbies back in full force with Dakota Martin. We've got Michael Evangeli going around. Everyone are clicking on is spinning. Someone just drive straight so I can get on board for a lap. Right, we are watching Jaden Fung here. He sits in the number 40 machine. It is the numbers you have to learn. And my word, are these cars loud. We're going to have to turn this down a little bit more than we normally would, because these cars are loud. Let's run on board then, as the audio cuts down as we ride on board here. But we've got Jaden Fung right now running around out there to try and get a lap in through turn number 1. Obviously this is a circuit that a lot of rookies are going to be familiar with, as we do all of these tracks and cars free content. This track in particular very heavily featured on the Mazda's schedules throughout the seasons, which means that drivers getting down onto iRacing for the first time are gonna know it. This car, however, not one that is raced very often. It is in its own category. Of course, as Fung has a bit of a wobble there, but is running through. Now, one of the drivers is called The Boss right now, and that is Jonathan Berry. I have got him on our forecasting views as Jonathan Berry. However, his nickname is The Boss. Unfortunately for Berry, he won't see that on stream because I do have a custom coding in the background to get some names up. So I do apologise to Jonathan Berry there. With that being said, let's have a look at the timing tower here and see how drivers are doing. And it is Jamie Dory, the man of the hour so far in qualifying at the very top. We've got Alexander Last running around in definitely not last. Second position, Ben Oucher looking to try and improve on his top 10 in the championship. He's currently running around in fourth as Jonathan Berry moves up into second position, running around in a very fresh livery there of the subway. We got Michael Evangeli off the circuit once more, still trying to figure out how to get these cars around this circuit. It is a very tricky one as Evangeli goes into the wall. Of course, there is no damage on these races, which means that drivers can find themselves in a wall and keep on going. Talking about finding themselves in a wall, Dakota Martin is off up at turn number 1 as Joe Ingram's looking to try and put a first lap time on the board here in this qualifying session. Across the timing line he'll go. Like I said, these cars are tricky to turn, and then you put them on a circuit that is all about turning. Of course, they are going to face some challenges out there. A lot of new names to get familiar with this evening over the first week that we saw 2 weeks ago. So we have got Alexander Last new in here. We've got William Guthrie. Adam Wilson-Weir hoping to get out a couple of weeks ago, was unable to do so due to VR issues. But he is out today. Ruben Goodchild's a nice new name in there as well. You got Andrew Allen, welcome to him. Mark Sykes, Andrew Wedderburn, who we're watching here. Lewis Mason, Jan Whittaker, we've got in here for the first time as well. Evan Doroshev, Joe Ingram. You've got Jaden Fung. So a lot of new names, and it is still available to race in. So if you want to get involved going into the third round of competition in 2 weeks' time, click on the link that is pinned in the Twitch channel. You can head over to the Discord and get yourself signed up using the sign up form. Right, 10 minutes on the board here as we watch George Stone being the fastest man here in the qualifying session at the moment, but Jamie Dorey is looking to try and knock him off that. Of course, Dorey fighting for a win last week. It didn't turn out for him the way that he would have hoped, and that spin ahead of him isn't going to hope, but big crash there, and then Dorey is collected as well. That is what you're going to see a fair bit of tonight, not because of bad driving, but purely because these drivers didn't know what car or track we were driving on until I spun that wheel 15 minutes ago, and they jumped in and had to put in a qualifying lap. It is a very fun format to the league. Point system as it stands, so you know. A winner will take 20 points, second place will take 18, 18 points, third place will take 16 points, and it drops down all the way to the bottom of the top 10, who will take 2 points. 2 points difference between each of the positions inside your top 10. But with there being 21 drivers, less than half the field is going to score points in the races tonight, which means that they are going to have to try and keep it together and put some times on the board, as that's the 42 of Mark Sykes spinning around. We watch Jan Whittaker here, currently less than a tenth of a second off of Lewis Mason's time. They are back in 14th and 15th position at the moment. We come through turn, I don't even know, 8 I think it is. It's a fun thing for me in the broadcast booth as well, because this is not only some of the drivers stepping in, getting used to the cars on the tracks. I don't have my usual track map stats and information that I like to hold on to. So everything about this league is just called Let's Wing It, and that's basically what we're doing now, is we are winging it. And let's wing it so much, in fact, that we'll have a first of our conversations here that we are going to be doing throughout the evening. And our first one is going to be with the man that wanted to race 2 weeks ago, unable to do so, but it's Adam Wilson-Weir, currently third fastest in qualifying. Adam.
Yep, I'm not really good at these cars, so I'm just trying to stay in there.
Well, you're staying in there well. It's a difficult car to master as you go around into the wall. They definitely steer like a boat. How are you feeling about what will be your first race in the league?
Not very confident, because the car is very twitchy on the exits, so it's going to be more of a survival one, I think.
Now, that is points for the top 10. There are over 20 drivers here. Do you think you're going to get points on the board in your first race, or might you have to race until the second combination?
I think we've got a good chance. I'm starting to get a wee bit used to it just after the short practice here, so I think we're just going to have to wait and see how the race plays out, because I think a lot of guys are struggling here at the minute, so it's looking hopeful.
Right, well, good luck, Adam. I'm sure we'll pull you again in later.
All right, thank you.
Adam Wilson-Weir there, currently, well, fourth fastest now as he gets knocked down behind the boss of the league, who also goes around, Jonathan Berry. Berry looking to try and take the lead of the championship, and with it, he's going to have a good opportunity here because there is no pitters running today, which means that he, if he can get some good results, he could find himself to the very front of the championship order. It doesn't mean that it is going to definitely be his to stay, because as you look on the right-hand side there, it isn't too far behind at Jamie Doria. Sammy Ariba's there as well, and of course 20 points on offer for a race victory as Berry goes a little bit squirrely on the exit. It's 20 points for a race victory, which means that anyone right now could come out of these two races at the very front of the championship, especially as we have got 11 positions in this race that will not be scoring any points. So a bad race here, you will have a bad point scoring haul. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this then. As we watch Mark Sykes heavy on the brakes, number 42. We're definitely going to need a police car out there to manage the standards of driving, because the rear of these cars kicking out a good amount. Of course, as I say, there's no damage in these leagues, so you don't have to worry about getting into contact and breaking your suspension. It is all about the fun. It's all about the excitement. So drivers, if they do spin around, hit a wall, let's get straight back into it. You can still get points at the end of it. Talking about trying to get some points, Dakota Martin was here 2 weeks ago and looked to try and get some points on the board, but he was unable to do so. Can today be his opportunity? Dakota Martin recently getting into sim racing, and what a league to find yourself in. It certainly is a way to get used to different cars and different tracks out there. So this is going to be a very interesting set of races for Martin as he finds himself facing the wrong way. Joe Ingram is also right now looking to try and get a lap time on the board. He's unable so far to get a valid lap in this qualifying session. Of course, not a practice session, which means if you do get a 1x, a 0x, you are going to invalidate your lap time. But can we just say right now, with absolutely no practice, knowing what the car and track combo was just 20 minutes ago, we have got 13 drivers all within a second of each other. The top 17 all within 2 seconds, and the whole field currently all within 3 seconds of each other. So it is a very tightly packed field. Now, of course, we should have to say that we do have one issue with our overlay, and it comes from this man, Lewis Mason. We do apologise, but it's showing that he is from the UK, and we have to say that he's not. He has been adopted by the United States, so we will try and get that fixed in the future. But Lewis Mason is definitely a USA flag should be there for him. So we apologise to Lewis for those issues as he spins his car around in protest of that issue on the overlay. So I'm very sorry there, Lewis, and we will try to get it fixed. As we watch Andre Wedderburn here, running around in 6th position, one of the new names out there, trying to do something in this championship. Do you know what? Someone who is looking like they might do well as... Well, I say that as we go back to him in the infield, almost getting run over by another car. But George Stone, looking like he might try and take a pole position here and potentially look for a win in this series if he's just able to get across the line at the very front of the field. He will certainly be hoping for so. Joe Ingram has managed to put a lap time on the board. Ignore that black flag. Dakota Martin still trying. He looks quite depressed over on the side of the road there. But you will get there, Martin. These are very tricky cars to drive. That is for certain. Ruben Goodchild comes out of pit lane there, gets himself black flag, but he wouldn't have got around in time to get a lap anyway. He's just decided to do that to get in everybody's way. It's always the fun thing to do. Oh, we've got another police car actually, now that I noticed that. Wedderburn out there. We also had that police car. Who was it there? It was Lewis Mason, also in a police car. All from different countries here. We're getting all of the United Police Services in contention for the races tonight, as Adam Wilson-Weir has improved since we spoke to him and has gone second fastest so far in this qualifying session with 45 seconds on the board. We are looking at the end of this session right now to see what potentially could come of this series. As we have a look at this race, it is going to be a tight one. The drivers do seem, for the most part, as we watch Alan go off. As Alan, I was trying to say that we're looking like drivers have got used to the car, and then you go and do that. That doesn't help my statement of we're learning it here. However, I do feel like compared to what we were seeing at the beginning of the qualifying session, we're seeing drivers get around this track just a little bit better. The race, however, is going to be tight, is going to be interesting, and we are going to get it sorted out as qualifying is coming to a close here. Drivers will be finishing the lap times that they are on, trying to get one last-ditch valid lap on the board, but the checkered is out here around the Tsukuba circuit as we run in the Cadillac CTS fees rolled just 25 minutes ago. We prepare for round number 2 here, the first race of the evening, as we have a watch as qualifying comes to a close, and we are going to prepare ourselves for the grid here around the Tsukuba circuit, as it looks like no more valid laps will be put in. So let's have a look at how the grid is going to line up here into the first race of the evening. George Stone will be starting this one on pole position ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir. Jamie Dorey will find himself in third ahead of Ruben Goodchild. Jonathan Berry will be starting in 5th position with Ben Oucher behind in 6th. And Andre Wedderburn will be starting in 7th ahead of Mark Sykes. 9th place will be for William Guthrie ahead of Alexander Last. And Andrew Allen will be starting in 11th ahead of Joshua Downing in 12th position. 13th position will go the way of Charlie Jobson-Wood ahead of Jan Whitaker in 14th. And the 8th row of the grid will be for Lewis Mason, and Evan Doroshev will start in 16th. Jadon Fung will be starting in 17th position with Michael Evangeli in 18th. 19th position will go the way of Henry Martel, and Joe Ingram will start in 20th place. At the very back of the field, without a lap time on the board, we will see Dakota Martin. We are going to get a rolling start from the back of the field around this Tsukuba circuit as drivers grid up for the first race of the night. If you are enjoying the broadcast, make sure you hit that follow button so you are notified when we go live throughout the week. And if you enjoy the roulette action where we decide the car and track combo just minutes before the start of qualifying, then make sure you head across to the Discord link that is pinned at the top of the Twitch channel. 20 minutes on the board, no damage, and 22 expected laps of racing action around the Tsukuba circuit, a track familiar in iRacing for everyone on the service, especially those that need to climb their way out of rookies, because the Mazdas frequent the Tsukuba circuit fairly often. However, we now have a grid of 21 Cadillac CTS-Vs preparing to go racing for the first time tonight, and they are going to roll off the start here. We will, throughout the event, pull drivers in to the broadcast booth, And I don't just mean at the end of the race, I mean through the race as well. We'll normally catch them just as they're in the midst of a really good fight so that we can try and catch them out. We got another police car! Yes! Ben Oucher out there in an NYPD. I think the count's up to 4 now. We've got 2 Barbie liveries. They've lost out this week. It looks like we're going police car action. Right, through the final turn we go to prepare for the green flag. And away we go, drivers. Head up towards turn number 1 to see what they can do. It's a little bit of a nudge for the 78 of George Stone at the front as we go 3 wide through turn number 1. We settle down to 2 wide on the exit. Stone has held on to the race lead ahead of Dory. It is tight behind, and we see a spin from the 44 of Goodchild and a huge collection from those behind. No damage, of course, though. So all of those drivers involved are going to find themselves facing the right way eventually and getting back into the racing action here. The midfield of the pack has also sorted themselves out along with the front of the pack. And now we go side by side behind in a battle for what is 13th position, I believe. Coming towards the back of the field, but everyone now settling down on the opening lap of this race. And George Stone will lead the way at the front of this field ahead of Jamie Dory. Ben Oucher holding on in 5th position right now as the rest of the field behind try to do something. Is side by side between Alexander Last and William Guthrie. Guthrie on the outside, Last on the inside here as they continue side by side through the hairpin. It'll switch over to Guthrie's line through the right-hander, and Guthrie will get that position done and will remain in 8th position ahead of Alexander Last. A spot behind as Martel makes the move past Andrew Allen, who went off the circuit, but a big accident on the opening lap of the race where we saw most drivers involved. There it is again for you as Henry Martel actually managing just about to avoid the carnage. He slowed down early, he gets onto the brakes, he avoids it all, but has to wait until everyone gets on through before he can get going again. Ben Oucher now looking to try and get past Jonathan Berry and move up the order. He's got Andrew Wedderburn just behind, and in fact Oucher now gets to the inside of, oh my word, of Berry. Berry forces him onto the grass with a little bit of contact there as Oucher will have to hold on to 5th position, and Joshua Downing runs side by side with Lewis Mason. Downing on the outside, it'll switch over into his position, and Downing, well no, Downing has to stay behind, sorry. Racing numbers difficult to see from that distance, but it is side by side for Guthrie to the inside of Wedderburn and moves into 5th position in this race. Joshua Downing now behind Lewis Mason and Jaden Fung, and can see a couple of potential positions ahead of him as we come through the final turning, heading up towards turn number 1. Is Downing going to try and make an outside move? It was a very, very late move there. 2 wide through the corner, and will have to remain behind as it's side by side up ahead there with Ben Oucher looking up the inside of Dobson Wood. How is Oucher ended down in 10th position? What's happened with Ben Oucher? Was it contact? It was contact with Wedderburn, and Oucher goes around and will have to hold recover drive from that. Jonathan Berry here to the inside of Adam Wilson-Weir as they head up towards turn number 1. Wilson-Weir looking to try and get some points on the board for the first time, and Berry looking to try and take the lead of the championship. We head up towards the hairpin now up at the front, but Berry does hold on. Whitaker towards the back in 16th, now looks to the inside of Andrew Allen to try and make the move as Wilson-Weir goes off the circuit and has to recover. It's a self-spin for him. It's a Barbie car around with him as well. And now Wilson-Weir running side by side with Mark Sykes, who's trying to get involved in this one and see what he can do. And it is going to be the inside to Mark Sykes, and Sykes moves up that position and has to hold off here, and we're going to catch on with Mark, who's trying to keep Adam behind. How are you getting in there, Mark?
Getting in there, mate. I'm having a good battle. It's good fun. I'm liking this.
Do you think you can keep Adam behind? You've got 15 minutes. These cars are tough.
Oh, I ain't gonna be able to handle that, but these cars are tough. But they're good fun, though. Good fun.
Right, keep on going, Mark. We'll keep on checking in.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Mark there running around in 6th position, and at the moment keeping Adam Wilson-Weir at bay, which is exactly what he needs to do. He has also got, chasing towards the back of this fight, Alexander Last as well. It was Ben Oucher in a little bit of a distance there. We also go and have a look at Jaden Fung. Jaden Fung trying to chase down Joshua Downing. That gap's about 0.8 of a second. It won't turn into anything just yet. We'll jump back across to this fight that is currently ongoing in 6th, 7th and 8th position, with Oucher just off into the distance there, as it looks like Martel has had an issue here. No, it looks like it's just a disconnect for him. How about Evan? Doroshev has an issue, it shows, and no, just another I say disconnect, just a blink from the server there as we watch Alexander Last heading around. I don't know who that was spinning when we came back onto live pictures, but when I hit live, I know someone was going around as we jumped back towards this fight then. William Guthrie at the moment, the fastest man out there on the track with the purple. That means absolutely nothing. You don't get anything for that. It's a good try, Guthrie. You don't get any bonus points for fastest lap. It's all about the race win. And right now, he's only going to get the points for 4th position, which will be 14 points, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. If I am mistaken, then I do apologise. But it's what you get with a league like this. Everything is all off the cuff. Now, Lewis Mason is trying to recover. Did fall behind. Good child there. Momentarily, and will have to try and make his way back through. When did this move happen? Jamie Dory made the move for the lead. There was so much going on there that we missed this overtake, and I'm just having a look here to see if I can find when on earth this happened. I'm just so bad at keeping track of things. I think it happened quite a while ago. I'm looking here to see if I can see Jamie's name appear anywhere on the on my information to say that an overtake occurred, but I have scrolled back now. Here we go. It was on lap 2. Lap 2 this happened, apparently, so that's how great I am at keeping up to date with you. And it was a wobble from George Stone, and it just allowed Jamie Dory to move through up the inside, so a nice easy move there for him, and I say you're welcome for keeping you up to date 7 laps later on how that overtake occurred. However, George Stone is holding on nicely to 2nd position at the moment, ahead of Jonathan Berry and William Guthrie at the moment, who are chasing just behind as it stands. And with that, I am going to see if we can pull in here on the drivers. Now, this is how I am going to get this completely and utterly wrong. I do have a driver that is not under the name of William Guthrie, but I believe it's William. It's a big wobble there. I'll pull you into the booth just as I get you here, William. You had a massive wobble, but you're chasing down 2nd position. How's it going for you?
Well, I actually have my full FPS in qualifying. I had about 20 FPS, so I had to restart. Had to abort qualifying and restart the game, and we've got my full 215 FPS now, and it's working well.
Well, FPS certainly does help you see the game a little bit better. Has it improved your driving skills? Do you think you're going to be able to make your way onto that podium?
I think so, yeah. These pair of boys keep going out the way they are. I think I should be able to. I had to take my gloves off because I'm sweating, which is probably why I had that massive wiggle. So I was trying to take my gloves off, but should be able to get these boys.
Say it's a tricky car to drive. It's a heavy car to drive. Is it a fun combo out there?
That's brilliant. Aye. See the manually blipping these as well to stop the rear locking going around on you and downshift. So it's properly like you can properly sort of drive it. It's really cool.
Right. Well, good luck for the rest of the race there, then, William, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
William Guthrie there running around in 4th position. George Stone runs a little bit wide at turn number 1. Could it invite Jonathan Berry into the action here as he sits in the middle of it? Who's off the circuit there? It's a back marker. It is a back marker, I believe, of Dakota Martin. For a moment there, I thought it might have been Jamie Dory, because Dory is also in the Barbie livery, but it is not. Jaden Fung at the moment leading a chain of himself, Alan and Goodchild in 13th, 14th and 15th position, as Alan looking to try and find his way past Fung as we come through. The hairpin there runs deep to the inside, and it's contact! Alan takes out Goodchild with a spin to the rear. Goodchild will get back going, does keep 14th for now, but has Lewis Mason all over his rear, looking to the inside. The police are here, and they are here to try and stop the crashes or cause them. I don't know, one of them. Lewis Mason, though, is behind. Ruben Goodchild looking to try and get up into P14 as we go through the final turn. They remain in line as it stands, as Joshua Downing goes deep into 1 to get up the inside of Joe Ingram, and he has done it, but now it's all about the exit, and it's side by side. Ingram is looking to try and keep this position in the number 316. He's forced out wide as Downing just gets the inside to the hairpin, and through he goes. And talking about through he goes, William Guthrie gets past Jonathan Berry there and a back marker at the same time, but William Guthrie makes that move through, and here is how it happened. It's a drag race up towards the final turn, a back marker involved. Guthrie's to the inside. The 4.53 there is Evan Doroshev. He is a lap down, and look at that move. A lovely move indeed there for William Guthrie, who finds him on the podium. And a man who I believe is going to be leading the championship out of this one, has fallen to 4th. If he falls another position, he will be tied on points with Jamie Dory in the championship. We head through the final turn here as I hide everything there, and not what I wanted to hide. We come through with Jonathan Berry falling down a little bit at the moment. We go back to Ruben Goodchild, who is looking to try and do something after going off the track, and that is another back marker around. I think it's Martin, and he spins in front of the field there. But fortunately, no one else getting involved in that one. Now, because of all the fighting that's been going on towards the front here, I would say Andre Wedderburn is within contention of finding his way up the podium. He certainly will, because that is Jonathan Berry into the wall, and it's a self-spin for who would have been the championship leader, but will jump back to the live championship standings, because that is now going to go the way of Jamie Dory, who will be at the top of these championships with 48 points to his name. As I noticed there, our lovely sponsors are over the standings. We'll bring those sponsors down to the bottom there. But we watch this fight, and I keep on hitting the wrong button to hide absolutely everything. But we are watching now Ben Oucher in the midst of a fight, who has Jonathan Berry just behind him here, and Mark Sykes just ahead, because Ben Oucher now is going to be under attack, I believe. Is that... no. Yes, he is. No, Oucher makes the move on Sykes from the air. It's really difficult to see what numbers these guys are, but Oucher makes the move past Mark Sykes and is now chasing down Adam Wilson-Weir in this fight that is going on for P number 5. It's a bit of a gap then down to Andre Weberman. We talked about Wedderburn. Wedderburn was in with a potential opportunity to take a podium. He has since had issues and won't be there. But this is the fight at the very front of the field, and it is your podium. A wobble for William Guthrie there, who wobbles through the hairpin and leaves George Stone without having to defend here, which means that Jamie Dory could come under attack from George Stone. Both of these drivers looking for a first victory as we head out of the hairpin at the back end of the course and now towards the long right-hander. Different racing lines been seen here throughout the event so far, but they are following in line at the moment between Jamie Dory and George Stone. It's all about making sure you get down on the brakes, you don't spin it as you try and get it back going again as we continue to watch these drivers head around, and we will pull in George Stone. George, you're running around in second position at the moment. You've got William behind, Jamie ahead. You did get it on pole, but you've got to recover. How's it going?
I'm just seeing what I can do at the moment, trying to stick with Jamie, not make a mistake.
Well, you made a mistake earlier which cost you that race lead, but you're half a second behind right now. You are the closest you've been all race long with about 5 laps to go. Do you think you can get away past?
I'm going to try to.
We'll wish you best of luck there, George, and we'll leave you to it as you continue to fight on.
Thank you.
Second position there for George Stone. Looks to the inside of Dory as Dory runs wide, and it's only fair we distracted one. We'll distract the other. Jamie, as he goes deep into the hairpin, I'll let you just focus for a moment.
That's all right.
As you hold on as we pull you in there, but you are having to defend hard here.
Yeah, I kind of told everyone in the voice chat my little secret, and they seem to have found a bit more faith.
Well,
So,
why would you do that now?
Well, it's a bit of fun, isn't it? So why not?
Well, you are doing really good to hold on to the lead at the moment. It will take you to the lead of the championship as it stands, but you do have 2 Cadillacs breathing down your backside at the moment. Do you think you can hold it on for the final 4?
I'll let you know in 4 laps.
Well, we'll speak to you again soon as we continue fighting it out.
All right, cheers, mate.
Jamie Dory there, holding on to the lead. He ran to the tighter line through turn 1, Stone to the outside. William Guthrie holding into third. We've already pulled William in. I think it unfair if we pull him in twice in one race. We'll leave them be for the end of this one. Jamie Dory leading the race by half a second ahead of George Stone. William Guthrie behind in third position right now. There is also the fight going on between Andre Wedderburn, Adam Wilson-Weir and Ben Oucher as well. And Mark Sykes is having to defend from Jonathan Berry. So there are still other fights going on at the moment as we will watch the leading 3 come across the timing lines, go on to the 20th lap of asking here. This is the battle for 4th behind, being led by Wedderburn. In the middle of Wilson-Weir, it's Oucher behind at the moment, just coming into shot there as we come through the hairpin. Who was that off? It was Dakota Martin. Again, another similar livery. It's just trying to remember who is what livery, and it's the racing number that you've really got to remember in this one. Right, Adam Wilson-Weir in the middle of this pancake right now. This is Jonathan Berry chasing down Mark Sykes as well, 4/10 between those 2. It was a potential for Adam Wilson-Weir onto the hairpin there as we watch this fight continuing for 4th, but now he could come under attack from Ben Oucher as we head up towards 2 laps to go. Wilson-Weir's got to keep it all together through the hairpin here, not get himself under attack from Ben behind, but it looks like Ben could potentially do something here. He's found a little bit of pace. He's all on the rear end. Wilson-Weir going that tighter line. Ben Oucher the slightly wider exit, and Wedderburn the slightly wider entry, and it's contact! Jamie Dory goes around. George Stone was caught up in it, and it is the 297 of Jan Whittaker, a back marker. That has just gifted William Guthrie the race lead. George Stone sits in second. Jamie Dory down to 3rd position. How is that going to affect the championship standings? Dory and Berry would be tied, but Berry gets past Adam Wilson-Weir and Mark Sykes there and moves to 6th. And now Jonathan Berry will be holding on to the championship lead here as we go on to the white flag lap. Ben Oucher chases down Wedderburn for 4th position. Adam Wilson-Weir chases down Jonathan Berry for 6th, and Mark Sykes is just behind as well. This is what happened for Adam Wilson-Weir. It was contact with Ben Oucher. And then on the exit, what did Jonathan Berry do to make the move through? Because he got past Oucher. It looks like it happened a little further up the course. We will have to have a look back at that afterwards, because William Guthrie comes through the final turn to take the checkered flag and victory at Tsukuba ahead of George Stone. Jamie Dory holds on to 3rd. Wedderburn keeps Oucher at bay. And Jonathan Berry will stay ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir and Mark Sykes. Andrew Last will look to take 4 points out of this first race of the evening as he comes through the final turn. And Charlie Jobson-Wood will take the final 2 points on the board. And the first man to miss out will be Joshua Downing, who will come across the line in 11th place ahead of Lewis Mason. And Jaden Fung will come home in 13th position ahead of Joe Ingram. The rest of the field laps down, but we will have a look at the standings, the race results and the standings in just a moment. But William Guthrie takes the win after the contact with the back marker with just a couple laps to go. We will have another look at that one. This is Jamie Dory. It's the 297 of Jan Whittaker ahead. We ride on board with George Stone. How does he get involved? He sits behind, and look at that move for William Guthrie. Just moves to the outside to move through into the lead of that race. What a great race then. Let's very quickly have a look at the race results from this first race before we spin the wheel for a second time. William Guthrie takes the win here ahead of George Stone. Jamie Dory takes 3rd position ahead of Andrew Wedderburn, and Ben Oucher in 5th. Jonathan Berry came home in 6th position ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir. Mark Sykes came home in 8th ahead of Alexander Last. And Charlie Jobson-Wood rounding out the top 10. 11th went the way of Joshua Downing ahead of Lewis Mason. Jaden Fung came home in 13th position ahead of Joe Ingram. And then a lap down was Ruben Goodchild, Jan Whittaker and Evan Doroshev. 2 laps down was Henry Martell. 5 laps down was Dakota Martin. 11 laps down, Andrew Allen. And the back of the field, without starting here, was Michael Evangeli. With that then, a quick look at the top 10 in the championship standings, and that goes the way of Jonathan Berry by 2 points ahead of Jamie Dory, and that means that Jack now falls down to 3rd position in this one without being here, and it means he is now tied with the winner from race number 1, William Guthrie. George Stone finds his way up to 5th. Ben Oucher moves into 6th. Charlie Jobson-Wood in 7th, and Sammy Uribe in 8th. The 3 of those tied on 20th points. Joshua Downing sits in 9th, and Andrew Wedderburn, first points on the board. He gets into 14 points and will be 10th position. Right then, it is time for the spin for race number 2 here. So prepare yourselves for this one as we get across to our wheel, and we will get across to our first wheel of the evening. Once again, the track wheel. Thank you all in the book. From here in the broadcast booth, I can see all of the chats going on. And during that race as well, thank you so much for the bits. No breaks there. And 60 instant points during that race. For Evil Wolf there. That is definitely a record in a race of only 20 minutes long. And thank you also so much for the subscription there from Doob New as well. I do appreciate it. You can also now enjoy all of the racing uninterrupted without any ads. And if you are out there getting annoyed by the ads, I do apologize. I can't turn them off. But you can get rid of them by subscribing or getting yourself Twitch Turbo. That works as well. Right, wheel number 1. I think I have spoken randomly about enough nonsense to get ready, and I have been told that there are confirmation of the updated points, so we will have a look at those during the break, so I can confirm that ours are right. Okay, let's find out then what track we are going to be on for the second race of the evening here. Where's it going to slow down? Virginia, Wild West, Winton. Are we back at Phoenix? We're back at Phoenix. Now, I'm going to wait one moment here to see what is going to be said by Barry here. Because in the pre-season test event, we were at Phoenix. At round 1, we were at Phoenix. Are we doing Phoenix a third time? I want to check here. I'm getting the message. We're doing Phoenix. Right. Dirt or not dirt? Now, that's the question. Are we going to do the dirt circuit this time? Because if I'm not mistaken, there is a dirt layout of the Phoenix track. I'm getting that message. It's like almost a message in there. We're going to do dirt. We are going to do a dirt. So let's get the dirt wheel spinning around. Here we go. We're going to get the dirt wheel spinning because we are going to be doing Phoenix in the dirt. Which cars are we going to go to? The dirt street sorts, the FIA cross car. No, it's not. No, it's not. We were this close to the best car we could have had. We were this close to having the brand new cross car. We were just so close to what would have been a great combo. And now we have an absolute disaster of a combo. But I think for all of you watching, myself included, this is going to be brilliant. This is actually better. This is so much better than having a cross car. We are going to be heading around the Phoenix Raceway here today, and we are going to be doing it in the Formula V's. Right, we are going to take a step away from the action here in the commentary booth for a few minutes just whilst the server gets started up. We will be back, though, in about 5 minutes' time for race number 2 at about 9 o'clock. So make sure you don't go anywhere. If you are new around here, make sure you've hit that follow button if you haven't already. And also hit that subscribe button to support me further. That'd be great. And thank you all so much that have already supported with a follow, with the bits, with the subscriptions. Right, we're going to only 16 on dirt. How many finished? How many finished race 1 do you mean, Barry? We're trying to figure some things out here. How many finished race 1? 14 on the lead lap, but 17, 18 finished in that one. We're figuring this out. This we do live on air. It's the fun thing about this. That's why I have the Discord open in the background. Time to Scandi Flicker Formula V. Yeah. Road course in the V's. Okay, we are going to do the road course in the Formula V's. The V's are a tricky little beast. Nothing like the Cadillacs, though. But anyway, here in the commentary booth, we are going to take a brief pause whilst we wait for the server to tick up. So make sure you don't go anywhere. And we will be back in just a moment's time. Thank you for watching. We'll be back in a minute. We will be back in just a moment's time. We are just getting loaded into the session. Just bear with us. Hello and welcome back here as we are returning to the next race of the championship. I do apologize for that. Ignore that. You didn't see that. Okay. We are preparing for this one then and just making sure our points counts are the same as the official broadcast and the official standings, and they certainly are, which is excellent news here as we go down racing for the second time today. It is the Formula V's, and we are around the Phoenix circuit. Let's get up the last of the things that I need here to make sure that everything is working a-okay, and it certainly is. Qualifying is started here, and drivers are getting themselves going around as we just try to figure out if everything's all good on our side. Let's get everything running here. And there we go. A lot of cars facing the wrong way there as drivers get used to the Formula V's. They, again, a car that are very well known to rookies, but not so much a circuit that is well known to rookies. However, it is a circuit that keeps on reappearing in this calendar. In the preseason, we saw this circuit. In round 1, we saw this circuit. In round 2, we found this circuit again. But such is the case of rolling a wheel. You may see the same tracks multiple times. Right, we can turn up the game sounds a little bit here. The Formula V's not quite the same amount of power as the Cadillac CTS V's, but if this is anything like the previous races we've seen here as Joshua Downing gets thrown into a wall, anything like the previous race we saw here, such as the Pontiac Solstice Oval race last week, it really did show some absolute fantastic racing action, and we saw some sprints to the line. Are we going to see anything similar here today? But we are here for the second race of the evening, spun a mere moments ago, and we are preparing for this race. Now, we tried to run an ad break during our quick broadcast break to make sure that as much racing as possible goes uninterrupted. As Jonathan Berry goes purple, immediately defeated by race 1 winner William Guthrie. Jamie Dory, however, showing he's got the pace right now and also knocks off those behind. Alexander Last goes third fastest. Where will Adam Wilson-Weir find himself here? And it's with no lap time on the board there for Wilson-Weir, not able to get the 22 running a valid lap at the moment as he heads around. Wedderburn gets onto the board as Lewis Mason comes in through the first corners and loses the rear end. It is certainly easy to do. We ride on board with Evan Doroshev. He is going to teach us the layout, so teach us your ways, Evan, as he comes through turn number 1. There's a big wobble, some drivers ahead, and hopefully will stay out of his way, but they certainly won't. Who was that coming back onto the circuit? It's this green and blue car here, and I'm trying to figure out who that was that came back on circuit in such a way. And I still can't figure out that racing number. These are horrible for finding racing numbers in there. It might have been Alexander Last. No, it wasn't. I don't know who that was. Anyway, Henry Martel is continuing on at the moment to put in a valid lap time on the board. And let's see if we can get a full run on a lap without an accident this time, as Alexander Last finds himself in first right now with a 1:11.734. Across the timing line we go as we ride on board with Henry Martel up through turn number 1. A driver off the circuit there. It was good enough for 6th for Martel. 4.5 seconds off the pace though as he does try to figure out this car, and he's going to have to do that with a blinking Formula V in front of him. But we continue on through. That's a huge amount of smoke there in front. I think that might have been Martel. Sorry, not Martel. I think that might have been Whitaker, possibly. And around goes Martel. Right, let's see if we can try this again. Adam Wilson-Weir goes into turn number 1. Axton ahead, but will Wilson-Weir stay clean? Yes, he certainly does. Right, third time's a charm. Are we going to see a qualifying lap in full here without an issue? Wilson-Weir is yet without a time on the board, so that the hope is not too high at the moment as we get down onto the brakes. The grooves in the racing circuit there. Of course, this is the old legacy track that is still run occasionally in officials, but not very often. More than anything, it's the oval that is still run in officials, and it's where you normally have to get through your D license in an oval to get through to the C license. Is normally around this circuit. Right, we come through the final turn though with Adam Wilson-Weir. He has managed to get a lap time on the board. Will he actually get a lap time on the board? But we saw he didn't go off the track, so I think this could be a lap time for Adam Wilson-Weir as he comes across the timing line there. Will it be a lap time on the board? The answer is no, it will not for Adam Wilson-Weir, and he still needs to find a lap time to get himself towards the front right now, as we watch Andrew Allen in 6th position in this qualifying session right now. It's a vast difference from the gaps we saw in qualifying around Tsukuba in the Cadillacs. It is a vast difference on the left of our broadcast there, but we'll see if it closes down, and the racing itself is sure to be interesting. A lot of slipstream, of course, that will bring the cars closer together, and a lot of issues, I'm also certain. Here is Charlie Jobson-Wood also looking to try and get a valid lap time on the board at the moment, as I take a sip of a much needed drink there. Henry Martel finds some time on the board, gets to 7th. Will Charlie Jobson-Wood get a valid time in, this time up towards the timing line, as we watch him come through the end of the lap and up towards the line. It takes a while. Do you know what? I feel like this is actually taking longer than we saw the Pontiacs last week. Across the line goes Jobson-Wood. Will it be enough to place him on the board? It certainly is. 5th fastest there, and we'll have a quick word with Charlie. It was a nice time on the board there. How are you feeling in the Formula Vs? Oh, as I realise that I'm muted there, Charlie, I do apologise. How's it feeling in the Formula Vs?
Yeah, a bit slick, but you know, it's a bit of fun.
You managed to get yourself a good lap time there, so you're avoiding spinners. How are you feeling about the race? Do you think this is going to be one where we see a lot of cars go round, a lot of close action? What are you thinking?
100%, a lot of action, a lot of spinning. Just hopefully I can keep it straight and do well in the race.
Well, good luck. It was a good time on the board. Let's see if you can improve with 7 minutes still left to go.
Cheers.
Charlie Jobson-Wood there, dropped down a 7th since we've been talking to him there, but still only a couple of tenths off of Goodchild and Allen, who between them are only 0.006 of a second apart at the moment, as they came across the line with a 12.855 and a 12.861. Andrew Wedderburn finds some time to place him into 11th position, knocks down to 12th as Jaden Fung moves into 7th himself. There's a lot of smoke coming up to these. Now, what I did notice before as well, as Guthrie moves into 3rd position, I did notice a fair bit of smoke coming out after some of the straights. Could it be that these cars, they're just going onto that rev limiter? But Jamie Dory has found himself less than 200 of a second behind Alexandra last here, as we come through the infield section. I think mostly, if you know this track, it's going to be the rallycross or the super truck layout. I don't think you'd know it otherwise. It is a very unused circuit as Jamie Dory moves to the side there, the smoke puffing out from the gear changes. Alexander last coming up now towards the end of the lap as well to see what he can do on this one, see if he can find himself any clearer into the lead as Lewis Mason goes 12th fastest. That's a touch with the wall, and that 0x will invalidate that time as Jobson Wood gets involved in a little bit of an accident there into turn number 1 after putting in a time good enough for 5th. This is what happened as Guthrie goes pole. There's the contact as Berry goes 2nd. William Guthrie, race 1 winner, has found his way to provisional pole with 5 minutes on the clock. Jonathan Berry finds his battery in 2nd position right now. As the top 3 are separated by less than a 1/10 of a second. The top 4 by 11 hundredths. That is crazy how close it is, I would say, at the very front of the field right now, especially as the gap all the way down to 5th and 6th. You know, you got 8/10 a second. It's a fair gap back down there, but the top 4 right now are looking incredibly tight. 20 cars have put in lap times, all 20 in the session that are preparing for the race around the Phoenix circuit that genuinely, I think these drivers have now driven more in this league than they have done in iRacing probably in the previous year. That's how much we are coming to this circuit in our roles. There was an improvement for Jonathan Berry on the board. It was an improvement that puts him just 5 thousandths of a second behind William Guthrie. Is it Guthrie ahead of him in circuit? No, it's not. Guthrie's a little bit further round. But Berry is getting a really good toe. It loses it now, and now he's going to get a car right onto his racing line. Is that Jobson Wood? It might be, but Berry's trying to keep it tight. He knows that he's got some good laps under his belt here. As trying to figure out who it is. It is Jobson Wood sitting ahead of Berry there, and Berry goes to the inside. There's 2 cars around the wrong way through the hairpin. But it doesn't seem to have caught Berry out. But look at the exit, just so slow, it's so sluggish. Getting off the line there. With 2.5 minutes on the board, we come through the final turn. Andre Wedderburn moves up into 13th position. And across the timing line, Jonathan Berry would go. There was a lot of stuff happening around him though, and it was a lap that would not have been one to remember for him, as Jobson Wood now looking to try improve, gets Buck up the inside of Berry, but they are running side by side here, and the fight is strong in qualifying here. If this is the battles we are getting during qualifying, it's going to be interesting in the races, but Ben Oucher, out of nowhere, just blitzes past Guthrie, Berry, Last and Dory, and moves in to provisional pole position here. Ben Oucher up to the front of the field right now. He is pulling Jamie Dory around the circuit though. Dory does have the toe behind, and will that give Jamie Dory the benefit on this lap? As they come up towards the timing line, they'll be approaching their final laps in qualifying. Well, their final lap in qualifying as Evan Doroshev moves to 13th, gets knocked to 14th as Jan Whittaker moves up to 12th. The man who started on pole in race 1, George Stone, he's good enough for 11th right now, and Jaden Fung improves for 6th. Ben Oucher comes across the line. Will he have pulled Jamie Dory along with him to a higher grid spot? It doesn't look it, but what Ben Oucher has done is found even more time there. He goes sideways though and jumps out the way of Jamie Dory. But Ben Oucher, 4/10 of a second clear, at the front. What happened there to Doroshev? Here in qualifying, a big accident there. A spin in front and just drove straight into him. Doroshev going over there. And I think it was Wedderburn, possibly, who was Wedderburn being the other driver involved in that one. Can Guthrie find 4/10, almost 5/10 of a second to get past Ben Oucher? Is he going to get a white flag lap, or is this going to be it for him? It will be it for him as he crosses the line. Will it be an improvement for Guthrie? It is not an improvement. Adam Wilson-Weir comes across the line, also does not go up the order. Joshua Downing's been struggling towards the back. Can he get a lap time on the board here as Dory goes second? Jamie Dory finds time on his last lap of asking to place it provisionally on the front row. Lewis Mason has found his way into 6th position, less than a second off of Ben Oucher. The last of the drivers to be less than a second. But look how close it is in the midfield there. From Jaden Fung to Andrew Allen, those, 6 positions, incredibly close. It's close up and down the field, separate fights there. This is going to be an exciting second race of qualifying action as George Stone moves up into 8th position there on his final lap of qualifying. Drivers come to a close on their qualifying laps, and we are going to have a look at the grid for race number 2 here as we are in the Formula V's around the Phoenix Raceway. Ben Oucher will be starting this one on pole position ahead of Jamie Dory. William Guthrie will be starting in 3rd, with Jonathan Berry being in 4th position. 0.005 of a second separating those two. Alexander Last will start in 5th position, with Lewis Mason in 6th. 7th position will go the way of Jaden Fung. 8th for George Stone. And Adam Wilson-Weir will be starting in 9th. Ruben Goodchild will start this one in 10th position ahead of Henry Martel. And Charlie Jobson-Wood will be in 12th position. Then we'll see Andrew Allen starting in P number 13 ahead of Jan Whittaker. Evan Doroshev will start in 15th position, with Andre Wedderburn in 16th. 17th will go the way of Joshua Downing, with Joe Ingram starting in 18th position. Mark Sykes will start this one in 19th, and the back of the field, it's Dakota Martin. The top 10 scoring points, of course, which means that the half of the field will be scoring points, the other half will not. And with that being said, if the race was to end the way it begins, this is how the standings will look at the end of this one, with Jamie Dory 2 points clear of Jonathan Berry. William Guthrie would be in 3rd, and Ben Oucher, who starts on pole, will be able to get up to 4th position. Now, that is only if the results finish the way it is going to begin here, and there is absolutely no way that this race is going to finish the way that it begins. We are going to get a rolling start as we head away from the timing line there, and we are going to get a lap of the Phoenix circuit. And if this is anything like we saw in the pre-season where we ran this circuit and we did a formation lap, get ready for a lot of cars to just get involved in some accidents. A number of cars starting down pit lane, it looks like. It looks like Jamie Dory is that? No, Jamie Dory's out there. It looks like there's a huge number of drivers starting in pit lane. That's Joe Ingram, Joshua Downing, Andre Wedderburn, Evan Doroshev, Jan Whittaker, trying to figure out who else started down pit lane. George Stone and Alexander Last. That's about half the field that's starting down pit lane, and there you go. That's Ben Oucher, the pole man, who has gone around and needs to find his way back to the very front of this order before we go green. Now, what normally happens here is we're going to get a slurry of black flags off of the line, but if we do, I'm sure they will be cleared pretty quickly, just because of the way these races start. Right, Ben Oucher already locking his tyres up here on the formation lap, but we prepare with about half the field out there on the grid, the other half for some reason down pit lane, but we will have 20 minutes on the board once more for our second race of the evening. Ben Oucher leading this one from pole position ahead of Jamie Dory. We come through the final turn as we see the standings on the left, but a lot of those drivers down pit lane, which means we will not see them out there to start this race, and they'll have to join the grid afterwards. Right, the safety car peels off. The inside line is very far ahead here. It's all about when does Ben Oucher go. It's green and we are going. We're 4 wide. As that was William Guthrie into the wall straight away there. We go 4, 5 wide into turn 1 and already carnage. And you can see why drivers started down pit lane. Carnage in the background as drivers get themselves sorted here. We'll get that timing tower back up in just a moment. As drivers head around, Ben Oucher somehow has a meatball flag that has not been fixed, which is extremely strange because usually there are no damages in. Is that an issue with the damage model perhaps? I don't know, but that is a real shame for Ben Oucher, who is out there struggling with now a broken car. A lot of black flags on the opening lap here as we go 3 wide with the 282 and the one after the 42 as Oucher runs wide with that damage, and he gets through. It looked like he got the damage, but then it fixed itself. That's so weird that Ben Oucher has damage but doesn't have damage. It's the weirdest thing. Lots of penalties on the left-hand side you can see, but this is the fight for second right now. That goes 3 wide into turn 1, and Jamie Dory comes out ahead. Ruben Goodchild to the inside though, as Guthrie holds that wider line in the baked beans machine, and it's a slide from Guthrie, but still side by side with Goodchild. Goodchild stays ahead for now, however, as we get through the infield, and around goes Jamie Dory. He gets out of the way in the Dollywood machine. Couldn't find a Barbie livery, obviously, and as customary around the Phoenix Raceway, we see a safety car. It is absolutely customary at this point to see a safety car come out in this race. Has Ben Oucher got going? Yes, Oucher has got going here without the meatball now, as we are under safety car. I really want to throw. I don't think Ben's available in the Discord actually, because I'd love to have a word with Ben Oucher and see what on earth is going on there. The thing that I'm having difficulties with is knowing what people's names are. Right, I think I found it. The Buster. Ben, it was a great qualifying for you. Now, I have to ask, did you have a meatball flag in a non-damage race?
Yes, which is very confusing.
I
I don't understand quite what happened there.
I was going to say, we saw you coming through the hairpin as well. You hit the wall, and that damage fixed itself, but the original did not. So you find yourself now in 18th.
Well, I couldn't stop coming into the hairpin. I went straight into the wall, and I watched the wheel repair itself. So I don't know what went on with that damage on the rear end, but I was just dragging on the floor, and I couldn't turn right very well. and I couldn't brake very well either. And it's just.
Well, carnage
Pain in
is
the
surely
ass,
to continue to ensue, which means that I'm sure you'll be able to find your way back up the order. But after finding good points in race 1, you moved your way up the championship. You're out of the points right now. Do you think that you can recover?
If this safety car gives me a chance to catch up, hopefully.
Well, you're about 15
we'll
seconds off of the pack in front. Looks like we're going another lap. So you should have enough time to get on the back. So we wish you luck, Ben, and hopefully no more weird meatball flags.
Thank you.
Ben Oucher there is, I'm trying to learn driver names at the same time as figuring out their nicknames here. It looked like he had a flat tire in the front. I agree with you there. It definitely looked like the front left. Well, there was something going on there, but in a race that has no damage, it's weird that there was, well, damage, to say the least, in that one. But the man who's come out the best of them all at the moment is someone who didn't have to call out the safety car. However, we will pull him into the broadcast booth for the first time tonight. Jonathan, you find yourself at the very front of the field. It's becoming a customary in this league that we go to Phoenix and we see the safety car. How do you feel on the restart now that you're going to be leading the pack?
Nervous, to be honest. I'm not feeling confident because I saw Ruben was pretty quick, Will was quick, and you know it's a good bunch of lads. So hopefully we can keep it clean this time. We had a couple of people to let by and catch back up around the circuit, and yeah, and obviously apologies about the meatball, whoever had that, and because the damage definitely should be off.
Yeah, we were talking to Ben about that. There's some weird meatball issue, and we both spoke about the fact that he even hit the wall with tyre damage. That tyre damage fixed itself, but he still had the meatball. It was really weird.
Yeah, very strange. Yeah, very strange. But hopefully should be good. I know the toe in these things is nuts. So hopefully that I can get a decent enough start to not be worried about the toe coming into turn 1. And then just get enough of a gap where they don't worry about the finish. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll be a good run and we can keep it clean this time.
Anyway, well, good luck for the rest of it there, and see if you can do. As we talk that to Jonathan Berry, who's leading the very front of the field. We will have a jump to Jamie Dory, who we spoke to before on this one. I did see the lights still on the pace car. Yes, I did indeed. We will, go have a little jump with Jamie Dory here. And Jamie, you've done well at this circuit in the first round of asking. Before you will obviously hit a little bit. But how do you feel in these cars? We've got a caution again to calm ourselves down, but another slipstream fest. How are you feeling?
Obviously, these are a little bit different. It's a bit, the damage isn't actually turned off for this one, so it won't be so ruthless.
It is turned off. We can say you there. That was a meatball flag, but we don't know why that happened. The damage is off.
Oh, okay. In that case, then I feel good and watch out.
Well,
yeah.
Well, good luck from 5th position then, Jamie. See what you can do, because with Barry in front of you, you two right now are fighting for a championship. So good luck.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
As we have a little bit of a watch here, and we get ready for the restart. The lights are off on top of the pace car, and we'll be going back green with just over half of the race to go. If you've enjoyed the racing that you are watching tonight and you want to get involved for the 3rd round of racing action in 2 weeks' time, then make sure you hit the link that takes you to the Discord that is linked at the is pinned at the very top of the Twitch page. And if you enjoy the broadcast, make sure you hit that follow button as well. We're live throughout the week, bringing you lots of different racing events. And if you want to show your support, then you can also hit that subscribe button as well. To catch up with all our previous races and the race highlights, head across to our YouTube channel and get subscribed over there. Right, we are preparing for our restart then. Jonathan Berry will be leading the field up to the timing line as the pace car will pull off of the circuit. Ben Oucher started from pole, had that weird meatball issue, down to 17th place now, and will need to recover. Waiting for the pace car to pull off as we come out of the final turn. Waiting for Berry to decide when to go. It's going to be a late restart, and through he goes. And that was a great launch from William Guthrie as well. Ruben Goodchild caught sleeping there. Alexander Last coming in, and it is once again 5 wide behind as we go into turn 1, but this time it remains clean all the way through turn 1. Can we get through turn 2 cleanly as well as we once again go 3, 4 wide behind? Somehow we haven't. There's our first bit of contact, almost up and over for Ben Oucher. That would have been a shame if he did, but it is still a shame that he's down to 19th place. And around goes Andre Wedderburn as well, down the order. Black flags for Lewis Mason, which means that he is going to have to visit pit lane to get rid of that penalty. As we get up towards the end of the lap, Lewis Mason is being attacked here from Jan Whittaker. To the inside goes Jan, and Jan gets past Mark Sykes as well. Sykes on a wider line through that turn is looking for the speed on the exit. Up towards the front though, Jonathan Berry has fallen down to 4th, looking to try and get back past Alexander Last, but now in the crosshairs of Jamie Dory behind. Berry looks to the inside as Dory goes to the outside here, up through turn number 1. It is 2 by 2 and around. In the background goes Jaden Fung, and it's contact with, I believe, Adam Wilson. Whereas Fung comes back on the track, we go up and over for Joe Ingram, who had nowhere to go in that one and was just a passenger. Up he goes and over he goes for Joe Ingram, who will get his car back straight again and recovering this one. Mark Sykes off the circuit there, pulled to the side. Jamie Dory though looking to try and get past Alexander Last as we see Jonathan Berry back into second, looking for the lead past William Guthrie. Guthrie looking for the double here. As we come to the end of the lap, Berry to the outside, Guthrie on the inside, and Ruben Woodchild chasing down behind us, side by side between Last and Dory behind as well. As we go into turn number 1, it's going to be the inside line for Guthrie. Berry stuck on the outside. That's the extremely wide line there from Jamie Dory. It allows Alexander Last to get back through up the inside. Ruben Goodchild now on the rear end of Berry as Dory and Last go side by side once again, and Dory gets the speed through the left-hander. It's a tighter corner. It's where he spun earlier in the race, but he gets it back going again, and to the inside is Alexander Last, trying to make the move through and can't quite do it at the moment. As we see around, that was George Stone who went around there as Doroshev gets meatballs. Stone gets meatballs. There must be damage on then, which is really strange because we saw the damage get repaired partly for Altria. This is the weirdest thing, but here comes Berry with Guthrie to the inside, Berry to the outside. It's side by side for the race lead here in a battle. We're just 1/10 of a second apart, and once again Guthrie holds on to the race lead, headed Jonathan Berry. Ruben Goodchild follows behind. Berry all over the rear gearbox of William Guthrie here as we head on to the main part of the infield where the rallycross circuit runs. Berry tried to get the inside, looking for the switch across now to the inside line. Jonathan Berry gets the switch over, moves to the inside, but it will be the outside line up to the hairpin. Will he try that switch over once more? He certainly does, but there's not enough room for it. William Guthrie holds out ahead, and through goes Goodchild and Dory. Jonathan Berry has to hold on behind as we go through the final turn. Dory on the wider line here. 6 minutes left on the board right now as we come up towards the timing line and continue to watch the drivers fight side by side between Berry and Goodchild. With Goodchild on the inside, Berry recovers the second and looks to the inside of William Guthrie. Has to stamp on the brakes there to avoid contact. It makes the rear end of his car wobble, and there's more contact there as Guthrie hops the curb, and Goodchild goes through and makes the move for the lead. It is a fight, and around goes championship leader Jonathan Berry. Jamie Dory will move into third with Guthrie holding on second there. But let's just have another watch of this one. And it was Berry just moving too far to the right-hand side of the course where the door was closed. Back up towards the front fight though, and Goodchild is leading ahead still at the moment. Jaden Fung though looking to try and get the switch back on Lewis Mason, and does that well for 7th position and makes his move up the order. But this is the 3 cars fighting it out right now for the lead as they go across the timing line. Guthrie led over the lap there into turn 1 with 4.5 minutes left on the clock. It is side by side between Guthrie and Goodchild. Goodchild gets the inside, and Guthrie will have to fall back to second at the moment. And with Jonathan Berry falling down the order, that has had implications on the championship. And Guthrie right now is holding on to third in that championship, with the top 3 just pulling away with some consistently strong results here. But it will be led by Jamie Dory as it stands. We head into the hairpin here with Goodchild leading ahead of Guthrie and Jamie Dory chasing behind. That fight continues, as does the fight with Whitaker behind Lewis Mason here as they continue on for 9th and 10th position. And Lewis, you are running right now in 9th. You've got Jan just behind who's getting good speed. How are you going out there?
It could be a lot better, mate. My pace isn't too bad. It's just trying to get past some people. It's a lot more difficult than others.
How are you finding the car? It's not one that gets driven very often outside of rookies and on circuit. I don't think I've ever seen it before.
Second gear's now on impossible to use. You just spin out and lock the rear end and you're dead. So it's mainly 4th and 3rd that you're using. But it's once you get used to it, it's not too bad. But it's just getting used to it.
Right, well, I leave you to your fight there, and you've moved up to 8th because of issues for other drivers, including William Guthrie.
Thank you.
Lewis Mason there up, and what has happened to William Guthrie while we were talking there? He has gone out, and so has Jonathan Berry. Let's look at Berry first. What's happened to Berry? Fallen down to 6th there. Berry's taking himself out. What happened to Guthrie in that? I'm trying to see if we can get back to when the incident might have occurred. Right, we are watching William Guthrie here running around at the front. Jamie Dory's leading this now, by the way, with the change. Was it a 3-wide accident up towards the line? This is with Jamie Dory. Guthrie running around behind here in that Beans machine, looks to the inside, and it's contact from behind. And around he goes for William Guthrie, and no! Where Guthrie spun, it took him to the infield, which automatically towed him to the pit lane. So what could have been an absolute stellar of a racing evening for William Guthrie turns disaster because of the open barrier here around the Legacy Phoenix circuit. This is the fight towards the front right now. It's, well, at the front. Ruben Goodchild leading Dory, leading last as a back marker ahead of them right now. He ducks to the inside. Will he stay out of the way? A huge amount of smoke. But that back marker not really getting out of the way. What is he doing? And it forces the drivers to the inside. He does stay clear though. No further accident there as Jobson Wood falls down to 10th. It is all about trying to stay at the front now for Jamie Dory. 1 minute left on the clock, but I do think potentially one more lap. This could be white flag here as Alexander Last decides to take a slightly alternative line there through the infield, chasing down 45 seconds to go. This could be white flag lap. It is going to be close right now, but Ruben Goodchild, who's got down out there for the first time, just like we saw for William Guthrie, are we going to see a race victory here in the second race of the evening here for round number 2? 20 seconds on the board. Are we going to get the checkered? And is Jamie Dory going to be able to close down that 0.4 of a second? 10 seconds on the board. Are we going to get the white flag or the checkered flag? It's the checkered flag. And is Jamie Dory going to find the speed? It's a strip stream to the line, but Jamie Dory wins ahead of Ruben Goodchild. Alexander Last comes home in third, and a huge wreck through the final turn for Jan Whittaker. Finds him upside down. But Fung takes 5th ahead of Wilson Weir. Jobson Wood came 6th, and Whittaker is just lying, hanging there like a cow on his roof as George Stone will come through to try and take 13th. Ben Oucher in a recovery will take 12th, but no points in race number 2 for him. As drivers come across the line here, let's have a look at what happened in this fight with Jan Whittaker. To the inside for Jan. It's Netcode that starts it all off, but what a wreck. Oh, we have to watch that one again. We had to watch that one. That is my wreck of the evening. Jan Whittaker is my wreck of the evening here, as we just watch him. I'm flying through the air. Just look at that. Jan Whittaker. What a wreck. What a wreck there. And I think it goes without saying, we will have to have a look at this race to the line once more, up at the front between Jamie Dory and Ruben Goodchild. Ruben Goodchild, sorry. But we come up to the line here. Look at this. Race to the line. It wasn't as close as we saw last week. But yet again, we get a photo finish in this league. What a way. Do you know what? The second race is being at Phoenix. If it keeps it up, I'm not going to be too sad, because they always create spectacular racing. As we watch celebrations along the front here for your race 2 winner. Let's have a look at the race results here around the Phoenix circuit. Jamie Dory won by even closer than what it actually said on our timing tower. It was by 0.026. Alexander Last came home in 3rd position in the end ahead of Andrew Allen. Jaden Fung took home 5th ahead of Adam Wilson Weir. Charlie Jobson Wood in 7th ahead of Lewis Mason. Jonathan Berry took home 9th, and Henry Martel taking the final points paying positions in race number 2. Joshua Downing came home in 11th ahead of Ben Oucher. George Stone in 13th ahead of Andrew Wedderburn. And then a lap bound was Jan Whittaker, Dakota Martin, Joe Ingram, Evan Dorisha. 2 laps down was William Guthrie after he was inadvertently forced into the pit lane. And Mark Sykes, 3 laps down. With that being said then, let's have a look at our championship standings out of round 2. And it is now a very strong lead for Jamie Dorey, who is leading with 64 points clear of Jonathan Berry in second with 50. Jack Pittis then is running in third. With that, he holds on to a third, not being here today, with 38 points, tied with William Guthrie. Charlie Jobson-Wood tied with George Stone in 5th and 6th position. And Alexander Last and Ben Oucher tied with Sammy Ariba in 7th, 8th and 9th. And Adam Wilson-Weir, your final man inside the top 10 with 18 points. Joshua Downing's tied with Wilson-Weir and Ruben Goodchild in 11th and 12th. And Andrew Wedderburn is tied in 13th with 14 points alongside Andrew Allen. Tied with 12 points is Jaden Fung and Michael Evangeli in 15th and 16th. 17th and 18th goes to way of Henry Martel and Robert Savage with 8 points apiece. And Lewis Mason and Mark Sykes with 6 points each in 19th and 20th. And then it is your list of drivers with no points on the board as we go into the third round of asking. What a great evening of racing. As always, this produces, and as always, it is going to be a hard one to cut down the highlights because it has been an absolutely fantastic evening of racing once more, and what a great way to end it around the Phoenix circuit. And once again, it was gap separated by just a few thousandths of a second. It was absolutely brilliant around there. But from the Type 2 Roulette League, we are done for this second week of racing action. We will be back for the third round in 2 weeks' time. Of course, I can't tell you where we'll be or what cars we'll be in because we're going to find out at just a few minutes before the start of the race. But this has been a great event once again. And if you have enjoyed the racing action, be sure to check out the Discord, which you can do so by heading across over to the link that's at the top of the Twitch chat. And make sure you hit the follow button here on Joseph Wright TV to catch all of the broadcasts live. And you go across to our YouTube channel to watch all of the race highlights as well. But thank you so much for watching here at Type 2 Roulette. And for me, Joseph Wright Broadcasting, I hope you have a fantastic evening. And we look forward to the next one in 2 weeks' time. Of course, here on the channel, though, we've got more broadcasts coming this week, including a Tuesday broadcast, a Saturday broadcast as well. So make sure that you join us for those ones. But thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Have a great evening. Goodbye.